Yes, 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 yes. There we are. There we are. There we are. So we are live. We are live. We are live. What's up, everybody? Y'all know it's me. It's Coach Terry Bryant out of Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to Hits and Heels. If this is your first time tuning in, I am an actual real football coach. And how I became a football coach is my husband is a 35-year veteran as coach. He played at the University of Kentucky. My son is presently the starting safety at the University of Kentucky, and we both coach middle school football. He made me his assistant head coach when he stepped down to middle school from high school after 30-something years, and from there, I actually started coaching with a women's tackle football team here in Kentucky, the only women's tackle football team in the state of Kentucky, the Derby City Dynamite, owned by Mrs. Thelma Banks. And I'm their only coach and their first female coach. And so today, today I wanted to bring on another female coach, but she got me beat. She is actually the head coach of a women's tackle football team. We actually met each other. We was actually across the field from each other about a month, a little over about a month ago, a little early June or something like that. It was a great game.
It was.
It was. Yes, I was probably more in awe because I think I was more enjoying the fact that there were females on the sideline on both sidelines, which is very unheard of and not really seen a whole lot. And not only were there females, but they looked like me as well. I was just in awe. So y'all, welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
Coach Blair Clark. Coach, thank you for coming on.
Thank you
for coming on. Thank you for coming on. And so I want everybody to just to get your background, on start from wherever you want to start at, and then lead us to where you became a head women's tackle football coach.
Wow. Born and raised in Baltimore. You see Oreos. Sports has always been a thing. I come from a sports background, basketball mainly. Being from Baltimore and up north, you mainly get basketball, right? Your southern states are mainly football. But back then, girls didn't have the opportunity to play football, right? Like late 80s, 90s. We weren't playing like the girls are playing now. The girls have flag. So basketball was my thing. I played through high school, had dreams of going to college, of course, had dreams of going into the WNBA, of course. That didn't work. Graduated from high school, and working was my thing. Like I wanted to make money, right? So like basketball became second nature. Long story short, one of my first jobs landed me here in Atlanta.
Okay.
I got promoted, got relocated to Atlanta. And then I was just out one day and met a girl, and she's like, "Have you ever thought about playing football?" And I'm like,
"You like what?"
Yeah, like in Atlanta, like for real, women. So her and I connected, and I took off from there. Like my football, that's where my football career started. My football career lasted with me playing 10 seasons.
Oh, good stuff.
I played for 10 years. I ended what I thought I was going to end 2020, COVID. Mm-hmm. Everything got shut down. The leagues got shut down, everything. I started with Atlanta Phoenix. My final year, I went and played in Alabama. I traveled and played in Alabama. And then a new opportunity came with Atlanta Rage.
Okay.
New team in Atlanta.
I was going to say they're brand new. How old is Atlanta Rage?
This is the second year. We just finished.
Oh.
Yep. So,
I think Coach Dirty told me that, and I think I missed that.
Yeah. So that formed, and I have been seeing it. I mean, if you tapped into like the football world, you kind of see stuff on social media and all that. So the new team formed, and I saw the social media page, and I'm like, Atlanta Rage. I had saw it for a while, but didn't pay any mind, right?
Right.
And then I talked to Corey Milton, who is the owner.
Okay.
Corey is the owner. Went to his house, sat down. He invited me to his house. And my thing was, I went with the intentions on just being involved, right? I just wanted to be involved. Because they were already formed, like Dirty and some other people, they had already started well before I got involved.
Okay.
He invited me to his house. We sat down and had dinner, and he's like, I'm gonna bring you on with my experience as my O-line coach. Okay, cool. At the time, he had an O-line coach. But me being me, I was just like, I'm not here to step on nobody's toes, but
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get in where I fit in, right?
Right.
That person wasn't really consistent the way he liked as far as scheduling. So that was perfect opportunity for me. In the midst of his absence, I did what I did, coached the girls, and he loved it.
Okay.
So one particular day, we had practice, and he's like, let me talk to you for a second. And if you know Milton, he's a random
Okay.
guy. Like, you'd be like, what? So he was like, you thought about, what you think about being head coach? What?
What?
I mean, can we talk about this over dinner? Like,
Right.
he was like, I'll call you. And we talked, and he said, listen, I created this team for women. I'm not going to be around. I'm going to get it started, of course, because it's my brand, but I'm not going to be around forever. And just from me working with you, I like what I see.
Okay.
And you got a lot to offer. So who can turn that down, right?
Absolutely.
But it was still a learning curve for me, head coach, because I'm so hands-on, and I had to scale back a little bit, if that makes sense. But yeah, first season was weird because I was O-line coach, and I played like 3 games.
Oh.
I played like 3 games.
Okay.
That was a little personal because although I retired, my son was born that year.
Okay.
So that was personal for him to like come to the game, and
yes,
for me, yeah. So my first year was more like player coach, and then this year I was a little bit more hands-on with leading the team as a head coach. It's a difference because now as head coach, you think when you have position coaches, now you have to oversee as opposed to being hands-on. So I have to oversee D-line. I got to oversee linebackers. I got to oversee secondary. I got to come back. I got to oversee offense. So it's a lot of moving pieces, but it's getting there. It's challenging, but I'm always up for a challenge.
So, Danny Wright is my co-host. She's the one that helped me to put, and her question was, first of all, was wow, because you were coaching and playing at the same time, which is really tough. But she says, what does your son? I think she said, what did your son think about seeing mommy play? Was he too young to really understand at that time?
He was too young. So, like my first year, he was in the car seat in the for the most part. But this past season,
he was on the sideline.
And he understands the clapping back and forth. So that was cool. And cool. It's so crazy because he's coming into his personality. He's approaching 17 months. And not even terrible too, and it's already there. His personality is already there, but he does things that I do, and it's so scary. So I have to definitely,
Really?
yeah. I mean, even if I turn my hat backwards, he's like,
He mimics
okay,
you?
yeah, he mimics everything. So it's cool.
Gotcha. Oh, there's Marie. Marie says, "Hey, coach."
Hey,
We took a picture together, didn't we? The three of us.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I have so much love for Derby, and you
oh,
ladies.
thank you.
So like when
I'm
we
so in love
played,
with my team. I'm not gonna lie.
when we played, it was like it was all love. A lot of the girls from Derby I coached with the international team. I had
Right.
I had the opportunity to coach international,
Mhm.
Costa Rica, and where was I, Marie? Uh,
Where were y'all
Colombia.
at?
I was in
Columbia. Yes.
So that was cool. So Derby is
You
love.
had who'd you have? Jadea?
Yeah.
Did you have Jadea? She's a beast.
So yeah, Derby gets a lot of love from me. Yeah.
Good. That's good. And you know what? And I think that that's the part that I definitely want to talk about that because because we just for those that don't know, both of our teams are in the WFA, which is the Women's Football Alliance,
Mhm.
right? And so it's the largest and the longest going league, but there are a couple other leagues. It is real tackle football. It's not flag. It's not powder puff. It's not lingerie. It's real tackle football in full pads,
Yeah.
right? And so we also have the opportunity to they've created an international portion of it where a lot of the players and the coaches get to play international to teach international players. But this past weekend, I was in Canton where we just concluded all of our championship weekends. St. Louis just won it all for the pro team, and Nebraska won it for D2, and Cincinnati won it for D3. So there's like three different levels or four different
Yeah.
levels. And so both of our teams are on the D2 level. So we was actually hoping that we would see each other in the championship game in Canton, even though we lost to them, earlier in the season. We were still kind of hoping that we would kind of make it back and that we would both kind of meet each other in the championship game. And that's the goal for next year, coach. That's still the goal for next year.
Doable.
that
It's doable.
we yeah, that we
You know,
still meet in the championship game
listen,
next year against each other because it is love.
the score may say one thing, but my girls, that game, they said Derby wasn't like you guys didn't lay down. You guys didn't lay down for sure. And they said that. So that's always a plus.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people. I think we had a couple of games, even our game against St. Louis. I mean, I think St. Louis we threw like three picks and had like two fumbles in the red zone. Like we had opportunities to score and we didn't get a chance to score because of turnovers. And so, those are just opportunities that we just got to work on in practice and just to perfect our game and stuff like that. But I think that's the part that I get excited for when I was sitting in Canton this past weekend and I was watching St. Louis and I'm sitting, I wasn't salty, I wasn't hating, but I was like, we should have beat them
Should
like
be,
twice.
yeah.
Because last year when we were to play them again, we had opportunities to beat them. Like last season, we were the only team to score against them and the only team to pick their quarterback last year. So the opportunities was there, but then it wasn't that they were that good and they beat us. It's just that we beat ourselves as far as just making just some turnovers, and that's just a part of the game.
That's a part of the game.
And that's just a part of the game that just happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that, and I tell my players, and the good thing that they like is that they can relate. I can relate, and they can relate. Like I played, right? So I tell them I've played in games where teams were just better. If a team is
Yes.
better, they're better, right? If we were out coached, we were out coached. If they were more physical, they were stronger, whatever, they were just better, right? But then
Right.
I've played in games where we lost and they weren't better. And that's the
Right.
worst, right?
The
It's the
worst.
because when you lose against a team that's better, you can go back to practice and work on what you need to work on. And
Absolutely,
you know where you
absolutely.
got to get stronger, right? Okay, they were
Mhm.
stronger. We got to get in the weight room. They were faster.
Mhm.
We need to
Some
do some
footwork
running.
drills or something. Yes.
But to lose against a team that's not better and you made a lot of mistakes,
Or
that's
even a team that you don't know if you're better than them or not, but because of the mistakes that you made,
yeah,
you don't know how good you really could be because
right.
yes, they were a good team, and you don't. We played against y'all. Y'all were absolutely fantastic, but because of our own mistakes, we don't know how good we
How good?
really were because it didn't. We weren't able to really see that based off of the because again, if you don't make those mistakes, what is the outcome? So
Yeah,
that's what makes it just really really fun and competitive. Um, the championship game was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't think that we could have had a better championship game with St. Louis and Boston going against each other. And Boston went up two scores, and everybody thought that it was a wrap. And then St. Louis came and brought it right back, and that's how it played. And so I thought that was a really really good game, um, representing women's tackle football on national TV on ESPN2. And
yeah.
definitely hats off to both organizations, and also hats off to our league for even um, putting themselves in position to be on national TV on a big scale like that.
Right.
So I want to know about you as far as, so now that you're there, is your goal the next level? Is your goal to be like Jennifer or Lori Locust, who both came out of our league and now they're in now they're in the NFL? Or is it something else?
I don't know. I mean, I can say yes, right? But that comes with a lot.
That comes with a lot, especially when you got a 2-year-old.
Yeah, that comes with a lot. And I already don't live a typical life.
Right. Because
Um,
I'm a former military wife and I'm a military brat.
yeah.
So I understand, right? And shout out to your wife who's serving our country, because she definitely gets all the props, right? All the
So
props.
even with that, so even when I played and coached, that was like a deal between her and I, because she was like, listen, I'm not nursing you back to health and I'm pregnant. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm of a particular age now, and it's like, okay, it's time to hang it up. I don't heal like I used to. After the games, it takes 3-4 days to recover,
Yeah.
as opposed to one.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of money on just getting your body back right, with chiropractic care,
Yeah.
massages, just to be able to go to work the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what I do, most of what I do is sometimes by myself because she's away. So it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of traveling on my part. But it's crossed my mind to answer, like, would I take the opportunity? Yes. But I don't know what that would look like,
Right.
honestly.
Right. Because everybody asks me all the time. I've been on a couple of shows,
Thanks,
even
Danielle.
on a local show. And he was like, well, do you want to coach? And I was like, I don't know. And the reason why I don't know if I want to coach is because I don't like how I'm treated by men.
Listen.
I don't like how how I'm treated by men in the coaching arena. Like, and I'm gonna be totally honest with people. The only reason why I got a coaching job is because my husband put me in. I didn't even ask for it from him. He got the job, and then he came home. He says, "Hey, I did. Because we had talked about it. I was like, yeah, you should absolutely take it. It's easier. You don't have all the, middle school. We play right here in the city. Games are on Thursday nights. You're still available for our son on Friday nights. You don't have to have film on Sundays, and it's not all year round. You don't have the off season conditioning. You don't have spring practice. Way easier than coaching high school, and you're not walking away from something that I know you love.
Right.
And then he comes home and he's like, well, I took it. I was like, congratulations. He said, I made you my assistant head coach. And I was like, what? So that's the only reason why I've had the opportunity to coach, and so
Awesome.
my experience from there helped me to get the opportunity to coach with DCD because I'd already had 3 years of experience of coach. Now I got 20 years of coaching, period. So I coach track and I coach girls basketball. Of course, I played those things in high school, and so it tore my ACL out of high school. So that's why I didn't play college ball. And again, because I'm old. Back then they weren't diagnosing the ACLs like they were now, and so they had no idea that it was tore. I actually found out when I was playing ball in Germany, when I tore my other ACL, that I actually played with a tore ACL all through high school.
Wow.
From my freshman year, because I would do something and it would like go out of joint or something, like they would like pop out of joint, and then I would be down for about 2 weeks. It would heal, and then I get back. Like you said, I can't heal like that anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So that's the thing for me. So tell me, what has been the obstacles or the adversity that you've had to go through being a female head coach? Is there any?
Oh, there are plenty. You're gonna have that guy who just feels as if he knows more than you just because of what's between his legs.
Yes.
Listen, you can have the experience, you can, your resume can be longer than his, but he still feels
he knows more.
I have to assert myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a thing. That's a thing. And it's so unfortunate because women already played a back seat in a lot of different areas, right? But like, this is women's tackle football. So I'm so thankful for Corey, just because he's so open to putting women in place.
I mean, that's the only way we've been able to get anywhere. Was there had to be a man at some point that was like, look.
Yeah. And he said he's like, it's easy. Can I go hire a guy to be my head coach? Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Could I do it? Absolutely. But it's a women's league and I want to put women in place. That's what he said. So I feel like even with that move, I feel like he paved the way for other teams to take heed and kind of do the same thing. Hopefully,
yes. Hopefully, yes.
Other teams will be like, okay, we can do that. But it's a thing. It's a thing. Some men just, regardless of your resume, regardless of what, they feel like they can do it better.
And I get that. I get that because I always, I've had to a couple times had to pull rank, not really pull rank, but kind of pull rank because he's my husband. And I'm like, I need you to, this is what needs to go on. I mean, even our first championship game, our first season, I was a little apprehensive. I was a little insecure because I wasn't sure, because he kind of threw me in it and I kind of questioned my own knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
And there is a lot that I didn't know because I didn't play. So I was always insecure about what I didn't know. There was a lot that I still didn't know and I still had to learn.
But even with that, you have men that don't, like every sport, football, right? You have men that are defensive, like they know defense and don't necessarily know offense.
Don't know offense, right?
Right. It's very few coaches that know the whole game, top to bottom.
Yeah, my husband's like that. He knows the whole game, top to bottom.
Corey knows the whole game, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. Every position. But some of the guys who fail to back down
don't know what they're talking about.
Don't know the game top to bottom. So it's just like, but again, just not allow me to fail, but unless I do it, you know, like let me do it.
Let me do it. Yeah. And then, critique me, so, I'm totally open to
Not
the
even
feedback,
critique me though. Not
my,
even
yeah, or not even critique, just
let me do
let
it.
me be me. Just
Yeah.
let me do it. Yes. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it's almost like the household, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a typical male female household, there are things that the husband will take care of, and there are things that the wife will take care of, right?
Right.
But sometimes with football, it's like, okay, do it my way, my way, my way. And then when you get in the jam, okay, now I need your help.
Yes.
Help me get out of it.
Help me
You know.
get out of it. Yeah.
So how about just let me do it from the jump
Right.
and see where it goes? But
I feel that. I think when I got a call from, which I thought was weird, but I got a call from someone that was getting ready to take over a program. He was thinking about taking over a program, and he called me, and he was like, "I'm thinking about taking over this program, and I want to know if you would come as my offensive coordinator." And I was like, "Why would I leave my husband?" I mean, that was in my mind. It was the first thing I like. Why would I leave and my husband and then to coach against my husband? Like that didn't make any sense. But I was still flattered that he saw something,
yeah,
but he also knew me prior to me coaching football too as a coach, so but there was still something there that made him like, I'm not going to take this position unless I know you're going to come, because I know you, right?
yeah,
And so that was flattering. But most of the time it's like, well, what do you know? And so they always like to come up with like a conversation to try to like test me
yeah,
of my knowledge to see if I really, really do know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
And so I think my most frustrating part is when we're in the midst of a game and I'm like, tell me why, help me make this make sense. Because we're doing stuff and I'm like, why are we? So then I'll go to my husband. Like our first year, I was like, babe, we're down 14-6 with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We need to manage the clock a little bit better. And he looked at me, but his look was like, if you know my husband, he's got to process it first. And at first I was like, are you looking at me like I'm crazy or that I don't know what I'm talking about or what? He calls timeout. I don't know how we get the ball back. We get the ball back. We score. Because my conversation with him, he was like, oh, we don't need to score. I said, no, we're trying to win. So we need to score twice. We don't need to score just one time to tie it. We need to score twice to win. And that's when he looked at me crazy and was like, and next thing I know, our first season, we don't know these kids from Adam, and we're in a championship game. So in the 5 seasons, we've been in 3 championship games, and we've been to 2 Final Fours. We just haven't been able to get over, the hump into the championship game. And
yeah,
so, but I think a lot of it is questioned. And then even last season, we were in the line after the game, and 2 coaches was like, oh, you should think about coaching. We heard you on the sideline, because they're thinking I'm the team mom or something.
yeah,
Even though I'm still dressed in coach's uniform and I got on the same coach's shirt as the other coaches, they still didn't see. And my hair, of course, I was like this. You can't miss my big old red lips, so you can't miss me on the field. And they still was like, oh, we just thought you was just a team mom or just, I don't know what they thought I was, a cheerleader. I have no idea. But it
yeah,
never occurred to them that I was actually an assistant coach on the sideline. And so that's some of the stuff that I kind of deal with. And then there's always people calling my husband wanting to coach because they all think that I can coach better, or that they can coach better than I can.
yeah, yeah. And
So,
one thing that Corey mentioned is like, I didn't hire you or dirty or whatever. Like I don't put the females in place or you specifically because you know everything. You
right,
know, I put you in place because you know what you know.
right.
And what you don't know, you can
That's what
learn.
you got the assistant coaches for, or you
But
can learn it.
you can learn.
Yes.
So once they understand that, like, you know what you know, I know what I know, but together we can be great. but it's
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to I don't care to be in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm the head coach. We can walk side by side. We can do this thing together. We can collaborate, whatever.
It's a team effort anyway. That's the only way we're going to be able to win anyway, is a team effort, is if we're working together.
Yeah. And so at work, I don't know if you know, I'm a barber. So I cut a lot of athletes in high school, professional, college. And just talking to them, a lot of them say that women just explain things differently. And I think that's why the NFL had caught on to like getting female coaches. Mm-hmm. Women just explain stuff differently.
And we just have a different perspective, and we just see things differently as well too. Our perspective is different.
We have a way of explaining the who, what, when, where, and why all at once, right? Because a lot of times male coaches at every level, even Pee Wee, will say, "Go do this" to a player,
and the kid don't have no clue what the heck that means.
No clue.
Yeah.
Right. But they'll do exactly what you told them, and no more, no less. Whereas like a female, it's like, okay, on my way to hit her, should I stop and hit this person? And then after I hit her,
then what?
Then should I turn my shoulders and hit this next person? Like we have questions, right?
Right.
So you have to coach from that aspect. You have to kind of hit all points while you're explaining. I had a coach one season in my career. He was a good guy, had an NFL background, and he used to cuss one of my teammates out, and she would cry in the huddle. She's like, "I don't understand what he's saying." And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just do this." And he would fuss and be like, "I'm gonna pull you out if you don't do." And I'm like, "Don't worry, coach. I got it. I'll tell her. I got her." And he came to me one day. He's like, "What did you tell her?"
What do you say?
And I said, "Don't worry about it. I got you." It's just how you're explaining. They don't. Some people just, yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. I've got people in the chat. So Star. Yeah, she plays our. She's one of my offensive linemen. I don't know if she's talking to you. She's talking to me. Hey, Star. Mr. Brown is my dude. He said women are always subject to being overlooked for their intelligence in various entities in our society, and unfairly so. Absolutely, Mr. Brown. Thank you. I like that. He said, Angel Reese, your Baltimore homegirl, has been subject to undue criticism from Black men in national sports.
It's so sad.
And it's sad, isn't it?
It's so sad. Like even when she was in college, it's like, again, the comments, you got to stay out the comments, but you can't help to read the comments, right?
Yes.
But it's like college. She's a child.
Yeah, right? I think I got mad when they were like, when she was crying, when she was like, "I getting all this," and then everybody was like, "Well, you can't be the villain and then turn around and crave and act like you're the victim." But she's still a child,
and she's still breaking records. She's still, all-star first year. So you got to get it for whatever reason with women in sports and women in, like, when you get to a certain platform or whatever, you just have to get that tough skin, because you'll get more criticism from men than
anybody. Yes. And I feel like, I think, and I've messed up a couple of times and responded in the comments when I've seen the comments. And I'm like, I don't know why I did that. And I could just beat myself. I think I did it today. Somebody had said something about, it might've been Angel, and they were showing her workouts, and he was like, "Oh, she's garbage." It says, and I went on ahead and commented. I said, drop your videos.
Yeah.
I said, drop your videos so we could see what you could do. Because I guarantee she could beat you. Why you sitting up here talking all this stuff? Because and the reason why I know that is because, again, I'm a military brat. I grew up around the military. And so that's how I got better playing basketball, is I would go on post and I would play at the gym with the guys. And so I would be the only female on the court. After I got sick and tired of getting my shot blocked, I learned how to head fake. You know, You
Yeah.
know, I learned how to,
Yeah.
I learned how to do a fadeaway jumper so that I can get it over their hands. Just so many things that I learned from playing with them because I got sick and tired of getting beat down. But why are you playing me that hard, sir?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you ain't playing nobody else that hard. And I've had to talk crap like that in the gym. I'm like, how come you D'ing me up like that, but you ain't D'ing nobody else up like that?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what it is about it that they feel like, I don't know, that they feel like they always have to overpower us, or or just something like that. Oh, Danny said, what don't you do? Yeah, she's a barber, right?
For me,
Yeah. She said, what don't you do? Yeah,
job.
she's over there killing it. I know she's over there killing it the game, isn't she? Oh yeah, Marie said too. I think she made a comment too. In the medical field, she said it happens in her field too, and she said it is frustrating. It is frustrating. But what can we do about it? Besides, like you said, we have to develop the thick skin and just expect it. And then now,
in the past 2 seasons, my first year, it was like, okay, I'm getting my feet wet. Second year, feet are wet. Third year,
next year,
and I had this conversation today. It's like, Corey, next year won't look like the past.
Right, just like the past two. Yeah, it'll be different.
I will be way more vocal. I will shut it down, and I'm gonna stop it in its tracks. Before it's like, yeah, whatever, let it slide, and you let it roll off your back because it's to be expected. But no, we shouldn't expect that.
Yeah. So I think I've had Win on here. What is she? The director of operations? I forgot what her title was, but something like that or whatever. And one of the things that I had asked her was, how many female coaches do we have in the league? And I'm like, how come y'all aren't tracking that? Like, why would you not be tracking that?
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that I think Bernie might be doing something like that, because I think he put something out there to try to find out what that number is, or and some type of a communication where we can just link up. Because that was the first thing I did when I was there. I was like, okay, who can I go meet? What other female coaches are here?
You know what?
In 2 weeks, who's coming on? Tampa's coach will be here on the 14th.
Okay.
This is her first year as a head coach.
Okay. When Corey, when they posted that I was head coach, you were the first person to reach out.
I was?
You were the first person. Yeah, you were the first person.
I don't even remember. Really?
You were. You said, I can't wait to meet you. Yeah, you did. I remember. And
I said, I can't wait to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because there aren't a lot of us, So again, it's just a small community. I got pulled onto a radio station, a local station here, and he was like, I want to hear your story. But the only reason why he pulled me on is because he knew my husband and my son.
Okay.
Right. And it was like, so Cisco, your wife coaches what? And so he was like, you coach football? Like, yeah, he was like dumbfounded, because again, I think DCD, you guys are 2 years old, but I think DCD is like 14 years old, and people still don't know that they exist.
Wow.
In the state of Kentucky. They're the only pro team in the state of Kentucky that has bought the state of Kentucky a national championship, and nobody knows that DCD exists.
Marketing.
Right. And so what does the marketing look like? How do we get that? How do we get it out there? So you guys are in a better market because it's Atlanta, right? And so
don't get it twisted though, because
it's a little bit more progressive there, but I'm in I call it Clantucky. So I'm in Kentucky. Okay. So it's just a little different.
But it's football heavy there. Like you said, your son plays for Kentucky and all that, right?
My son plays for Kentucky. So Kentucky and Louisville are big, are big rivals. Yeah. And Louisville was was ACC. They were top 10 last year.
Oh, that's where that's
we're SEC. We're Kentucky. We're SEC.
You guys should be like with them, you know, what
Mhm.
do we need to do to
Have partnership or
partnership, collaborate,
just
and
get
do
a,
like
can we get a yeah, can we get a shout out during halftime or
yeah,
something or
but like when they do a community event, because I'm sure they do them.
mhm,
Can we partner and do like a flag, something for kids, something,
mhm.
you know, that,
Right.
yeah.
Now I did just so that's what I do. I try to go to the camps when I can. So 2 weeks ago I did go to Kentucky State's camp.
Okay.
And the head coach there did say, he said, Terry, I promise you, because last year was his first year. So he was like you, he kind of had to get his feet wet first. And he said, but next year, I definitely want to look to get a girls flag camp. And we'll see about getting your women to come. And they're the ones running the camp with the girls.
Which
And
team is bigger, Kentucky or Louisville? Or they
Kentucky.
both-
Kentucky's SEC. But this is Kentucky State, which is D2 HBCU.
Okay.
And it's in between Kentucky and Louisville, but it's so and I will be so I do have a relationship at Kentucky. I just because my son plays there, I don't know, I just don't want to create awkwardness for him. So
Yeah.
I do my best to not. I'm gonna try to wait until he's done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I did go to like the offensive coordinator did let me come and sit in on a practice, and because my son plays defense, so I was mostly with the offense, so I wasn't around Ty until they started doing 7-on-7. Of course, he comes and hugs me and walks me into the building and all that type of stuff, and so there was no, but at the same time, I don't want to feel like I'm up there all the time and
Right.
until he's done. And then after that, then I'll, so I'm really close. Like I said, I've established a relationship with the offensive coordinator, ran into him in Chicago at the airport. As a matter of fact, we were on our way back from Oklahoma City from our playoff game. And he remembered me from the family day from spring practice, which was great because I introduced myself to him then. I told him then that, hey, I'm a coach and I'm interested in learning more of the offensive part of the game because that's what the NFL is wanting women to do. But I know I don't want to go to that level. I know I don't want that. I'm happy with coaching a women's team and coaching middle school. I don't even want to go to high school at this point because I just don't want to deal with none of the foolishness that I got to deal with that because I see things now from my level. And there's no way that plus I don't think anybody would hire me on if my husband is not the head coach. I just don't see it. He turned down positions because he was like, well, me and my wife are a package deal. So, if you don't take us both, I'm good. I'm not coming because I don't need it.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Which I thought that was cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so again, so
So
we're looking for you for NFL.
even
I
though
would love
the
that.
market is, even though your market is different from Atlanta, there's still people here who don't know that women's football exists still. And there's been a team in Atlanta for the past 20 plus years.
So Phoenix has been there that long?
No, but you've had teams before Phoenix.
Other teams. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You've had teams before Phoenix. So there's always been an Atlanta team. And
Right.
you still have people in Atlanta that don't know that women play.
That don't know that there's a women's tackle football team. So again, so you guys have the Falcons. Like there should be no reason why there isn't some type of a shout out at every Falcons game about the women's teams there. I was so I'm a member of the Minority Coaches Association, and the I don't know what his job was, but it was real high. He might have been the vice president of the Steelers was on, and I asked him about the Pittsburgh Passion. I said, "Are you familiar with the Pittsburgh Passion?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, you should give them a shout out every once in a while." He said, "Oh, we did that 4 years ago." I said, 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
I said, 4 years ago? I said, well, you're not doing it every season? I said, it's a 20-second, 30-second shout out to just help the women out just to put, you guys are in front of what, 60, 70, 80,000 people, at a game and you can't do a 30-second shout out to the women's
Yeah.
team.
And I don't know what it's going to take because football has been around for a long
For a
time,
long time.
right? But basketball for women has been around for a long time.
And it's still not where it needs to be. It's just now.
It's not where it needs to be, but it seems like boom, overnight it flipped.
Overnight. Yeah, it did.
It does seem
Because they just got the new media.
Yeah, it flipped when South Carolina, Dawn Staley, LSU, when them girls were balling out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they were balling.
Blair Clark, that whole college class flipped it.
Yes.
For sure. So it's just like, what will it take? When?
And I think that was frustrating to me because I'm like, they're good, but do y'all have any idea who came before them? They were.
Listen, I was watching
that came before them.
The Dawn Staley and the Cheryl Swoops and the Tina Thompson
and Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie. Come on, are you for real?
They paved the way, and it's so sad because even when they talked about when they talked about Angel Reese, how much she was making after draft, and Caitlin Clark, it's like, $400,000. But do you know how much Dawn Staley and them made to play professionally? Like $40,000.
Yeah.
But these girls are coming out of college already making millions in NIL deals, so they're not starving. Right. But I'm sure we still could stand to see our girls, our women making millions like the men.
Well, I think that they're doing a better job. So now that we got the Olympics going on, I think the rugby team, was doing a heck of a job. I love the idea that they're going to bring flag to the next one. That's going to be interesting just to kind of see what that's going to look like. And I hope we get some girls out of the WFA that comes and tries out for that and gets an opportunity to play in that setting and be able to come back and get the highlight that, well, I actually play tackle football. That's where I came from. And so flag is a breeze, so I'm hoping that that's the case. I love where flag football is going across the nation. Now, has it got sanctioned at the high schools in Georgia yet? Because I know it is in like Florida and Alabama.
Yes. I want to say yes.
A lot of the southern states have already brought it on. It's not sanctioned here. We only have one, but we do have one college here, and it's like an NAIA that they actually give scholarships for girls for flag football. And when I found out who it was, I picked up the phone and called the coach, and I told him who I was. And I was like, well, I want to be able to recruit some of your girls if they're interested when they're done with playing tackle football after they're done with flag. Let them know we exist. And so, but they play the same time we do. So I didn't get a chance to go to any of their games to support them and to meet any of the coaches or any of the players in person. But I'm definitely going to try to make, be more intentional with that. Because again, that's a great place to start recruiting.
Yeah.
The girls and transitioning them, because that's where most of our girls came from. They came from flag. And then somebody told them about tackle football, and then they made a transition to tackle football. So what else can we do to grow women's tackle football?
Honestly, I don't know.
It's hard. Like you said, because you're talking about the WNBA has been around for 28 years.
The WNBA was around, let me see.
I think it's 28 years, 26.
How long I've been out of school? I don't tell my age. Yeah,
I'm 54, and so the WNBA came after I graduated. So I graduated 88. So I was in Germany so it was early 90s when the WNBA came out. So
that sounds about right. I was in high school. I graduated in 99.
Okay.
So I'm 43. I'll be 43.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I got you by 11 years. So yeah. So it's been around that long. And again, in 2024 is just now getting the traction that it probably should have gotten in the beginning. Because in the beginning, I mean, golly,
We had a lot of superstars.
you had a lot of superstars, and then you had Houston Comets with 4 championships in a row. Then LA came with 2 after that. Oh, I've had I have to send you the replay with Tamika Dixon. I had Tamika Dixon on here a couple of weeks, and it was a really, really good show. She just got ahead. Matter of fact, I asked her what was her next step, and she said she didn't know. And then a couple of weeks after that, she got a head high school job and back home. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, it's been around that long. But so I do like where that's going as well too, because I'm gonna tell you who I like. I like Malaysia Phil Wally is gonna be
right for Wally. For Wally is the truth.
Is the truth. Her and Juju.
Yeah, she.
Her and Juju. You know, I can't wait to watch them play the next couple of years.
I think the difference is, so like even with Juju, you got rappers rapping about Juju. Yeah. You got Drake mentioned. You got Drake. You got LeBron, Kevin Durant. They are pulling up to her games.
Yes.
You know,
to watch her play.
To watch her play. So I think that's the difference in the girls now versus 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just the exposure.
Yes. And
the social media aspect.
And the support.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the support of those guys and those guys aren't tweeting, because I met Magic Johnson and Magic Johnson had mentioned something. Even when he was here, they asked him about college. He said, honestly, I watch more girls basketball than I do. I said, I can't even tell you who the boys are for. He said, but I can tell you who the girls that are bad that are playing. And that's, I think, is what it takes. It's people like him and LeBron and people that are totally just throwing it out there. And then I think even Prime showed up to a Mile High game in Denver. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. But you can't just talk about it just one time. You've got to be able to talk about it on a regular basis and fall in love with it like we fall in love with it and totally just.
I don't know if you caught the clip, but WFA posted where Snoop Dogg was watching a game.
Yes, was watching a game. Yes.
Yeah.
So on the tour bus.
Hearing about it, it's hopefully it's not another 20 years. Hopefully.
Right.
But with social media and stuff now, you just never know.
You just never know. Because
I'm
telling you right now, if everybody would have watched that game on Saturday, you'd have been hooked.
I think the leagues have to conform. Do you think that there could be multiple leagues, 60 plus teams? Do you think that that's possible?
Because I asked Wynn about, okay, if we're going to have 2 leagues,
there can't be a D3. There can't be a.
Oh, you're saying just everybody on the same level.
Yeah.
And maybe go to divisions like the NFL and create the divisions and the subdivisions like that.
And that's what WNFC tried to create, the more East-West type of I think as far as WFA, there might be too many teams.
Really?
Even if you got an investor to come in and your team.
So you're saying maybe combine some teams? That would be tough too, though.
Not necessarily combine, but if you're talking about getting it to a level where it's professional,
yes,
you're gonna have to cut out the mom and pop teams.
Okay.
The teams that don't have the uniform, just you have to have you can't have a team that's only got 22 people.
20 people, yeah.
You can't.
Because you can't sustain it. I mean, we went to Oklahoma City with 19, and if we'd have had 5 more, it would have made a difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't do
So
that. So yeah,
there are
you
certain
definitely have
cities.
to have a minimum roster.
There's certain cities. So we're talking about professional. It just has to be professional across the board. And there are certain cities that, I mean, you see it.
Yeah.
They're not. When you talk about the stronger teams, your teams that have been around, Boston, Chicago, Pittsburgh, there's a
St.
model.
Louis,
Yeah, there's a model on what that looks like. You know, DC,
the
the
DC
Divas,
Divas.
DC Divas. You know,
Yep.
so.
Shout out Coach Pat.
Mhm. But I don't think you can have. I mean, how many teams are in the NFL?
32.
32.
And
So
we
yeah,
got 50.
we got a lot.
I think it's like 50 teams, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, that's a lot. So I had asked, I think when I was like, so we got two women's teams. I said, so when they conclude their championship game and we conclude our championship game, how come they can't, play against each other? And she totally, she got a little attitude with me, kind of shot it down. And I was like, I thought it was a good question. Since we're gonna have two leagues, why not?
Which game you talking about?
Okay, so like the pro game. So like
You talking about the
St.
DC?
Louis just won the WFA. So who was the champion of the WNFA, and then them playing a game together?
Oh, yeah,
And
no.
he said no. And I get it. Because I was like, why do we have, and then there's another league coming. There's another league starting.
Another league?
Yes, it's starting in October.
Hmm.
It's the updated version of the lingerie league. So they're a little bit more covered up. Right. So, and I don't understand why, those, again, whoever those investors are, why didn't they come to the WFA or the WNFC and then combine those teams from there?
You're gonna have guys that wanna. I mean, I think the same way we talked about the coaching aspect, you're gonna have guys that think the sex part sells.
Right. That's all they think about. Yeah. That nobody wants to go watch women hit each other and play in a man role.
Yeah, unless they're naked. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh, Mr. Brown, I'm sorry. He said money is a chief motivator in extending and transforming female sports, and $1 million sponsor surface to struggle more forward.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And so I guess that's where the whole sex sales work, because when you're dealing with women, if you're not selling the sex part of it and the feminine part of it, then in their mind they're thinking that they're not going to make any money.
Right. And we got some girls that do the Instagram and the Facebook reels that get a lot of views and stuff, right? Because and then when you read the comments, they don't.
It's always some haters.
Yeah, but they don't look like football players. Like all football players aren't going to be masculine presenting, right?
Right.
We have. They come.
I mean, I think Lois has done a great job with her in her social media, with showing that I'm girly, but I can still ball out.
Like football, right.
I mean, I can ball.
We got girls that walk in the locker room in their heels.
Yes.
Put the helmet on, put the cleats on, and when it's when it's all over, they walking out with the heels on again.
Heels on.
Yeah. So I think just that mindset. You don't look.
Yes, I don't know how we change the mind. I don't know how we'll change that mindset. It'll be difficult. But again, I'm willing to figure out a way. I mean, that's kind of the reason why I kind of started this platform, was because number one, because so Danny and I at the time when we started this platform was because she was coaching middle school. I was coaching middle school. I knew no other females that was coaching that I was connected to. A mutual friend put us together and was like, oh, well, y'all should meet. And then our conversations were like having this podcast, just, the stuff that we were dealing with, the stuff that she was dealing with, because the dude that she dealt with was like, oh my God, I think I probably would have hit him dead in his throat because he was just bad. He was bad. You just whatever he could do to sabotage her being there. He just couldn't stand the fact that she was there. So he was just really just giving her the blues. And it just got to the point she was like, you know what, I'm not getting ready to deal with this. And I get it. And I don't blame her at all, because me and him probably would have fought.
Yeah, I've seen that side as a player.
Yeah. Oh, this is what she said. She said she left practice and I left practice and never went back. Yeah.
I've seen that side as a player throughout my career. Teammate may just be in a relationship and the guy just don't want her to play. The guy don't want her to play. It's causing problems at home. It becomes like some domestic. It's so unfortunate what women have to deal with.
It really is.
To do something that they love. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I just joined there's a women's football fan group that's just grew from 200 to 10,000 like over probably the last month or so. And it's just been just so refreshing of the number of women that love the game of football. And I've been able to, even from that group, I've been able to meet a couple of women that, are in administrative positions, that are coaches, especially the ones that are coaching flag football, because it's like, yes, because again, even in flag football, you don't have a lot of girls. Yeah. I mean, a lot of women that are coaching. Yeah. So anytime I come across them, I'm all in. And then I've even come across one or two officials that are officiating football, and I was like, yes,
white hats,
white hats, at that, yes, and they're white hats, yes. And so I love that. And so even recently, I was at the park. We have a Super Sunday where they have like this thing at the park. And the guy that's in charge of our Parks and Rec and our officials, he said, did your husband tell you that I wanted you to be on his crew for officiating this football? I said, I'm not built up. I said, I'm not built. I said, my skin ain't thick enough to officiate. I said, I'll come out the stands on somebody. I said, then my husband gonna come out the stand. My husband don't play about me. I said, so I said, I don't know if that'll be a good idea. He said, but you'll be working with him. I said, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I said, I'll think about it. I said, but again, I was flattered that there's one or two people that see the value in what I'm bringing to the table, and maybe it will bring other women on board because I'm the first in the city. In my whole city, I'm one of only two in the whole state that I know of that are coaching on a school level. Like there might be a couple coaching like in Pee Wee or something like that, but nobody that's on a school, because again, coaches are trying to keep their jobs, and they're not bringing women in because number one, because they're intimidated by us, and none of them think that we're capable of being able to coach. But I love my boys love me. I mean, and I'm the hardest coach. They know I'm crazy. And so, my husband likes to make jokes about it. He was like, there was one thing, I think last year we was at a banquet, and he was being funny and talking behind my back, and he made a comment. He told me to say something or whatever, and he was mumbling, "Oh, I'm not scared of her." And one of the other kids was like, "I am," and my husband just died. I mean, he had tears in his eyes, laughing because it was just so funny to him. And it's funny. So we have fun about it, and I'm like that. So I appreciate you coming on and hearing your story. I am so proud of you. You have no idea. I'm glad you remember that, because I don't remember. When I first saw that you were named the head coach for a women's team, because I think that might be my ultimate goal. I'm not sure, because even sometimes dealing with the women is hard.
Dealing with the women is hard. It is, because the same way you have, we're talking about adults, right?
Right.
And I have previous experience of working in corrections, and I work with women.
Oh.
And women were the hardest. I mean, I've been toe to toe with some stone cold killers, men,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't
They ain't
nothing
got
like
nothing on the women.
no. But you have women who only like direction from men. That's the other side.
Yes, and I felt like I witnessed that.
Mhm. They only like direction from men, and that's sometimes a woman of a particular age. That's sometimes a woman who has certain experiences, not always good with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but for whatever reason, she just likes direction from men. Mm.
I think I definitely experienced some of that because I'm like, okay, when I say something, T's always getting a call because I done hurt somebody's feelings, and
Yeah,
I'm thinking like,
yeah,
what the heck?
yeah.
If anything I say, you take it personal, but anything another coach says, is is golden. And
Mhm.
I didn't understand that. It definitely made me frustrated. Mr. Brown is, as you can see, he's like one of my favorite people that comes on and supports me. He said I encouraged him to watch several female football games, and the poise and enthusiasm from the players was very, very fun to watch. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a couple of people that, again, once I sit, I love standing around. Like if I'm in a bar, I'll always pull up a DCD, um, something from practice, a couple of
Yeah,
videos or something from practice, and then like, and they're these are women. I said the whole team is all women.
yeah,
All
yeah,
of them are all women, and they're
yeah,
like, ain't no freaking way. And
yeah,
but they get
yeah,
excited, and then they're curious.
yeah.
Um, they're like,
That's
I gotta go see this. I gotta go see this in person. So
that's
I'm
funny you
hoping that.
say that because when you sent me that message about Ken, I didn't make the Canton trip, of course, but I worked Saturday, right? And while I'm at work and I'm cutting hair, I put the
You got the
TV.
game.
So they're like, I'm trying to cut their hair, and they're like,
Look,
what's they're like, what's this? It's not football season. I'm like, it's women. And they're like, and I'm like, can you hold your head straight? And they're
you
like,
know?
that was a girl. I'm like, yeah, that
Yes,
was a girl.
yes,
So
that was a girl.
they, but
Yes.
my clients, they love it. They love it. They're like, when is the game? They come and
Yeah.
support.
Oh,
Like,
good.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I definitely got to figure out how we can do a better job of filling up the stands. Of course, I live like an hour away in Lexington, and so when I travel, an hour, sometimes an hour and a half to get to practice or get to the games and stuff. So, I don't expect a lot of people. I definitely got it, but because I'm not in the Louisville community, it's kind of hard for me to kind of tap into the Louisville community to figure out how to get more people to
I
come to
would
the game.
say
But I'm gonna figure it out though.
with this being our second year, we've done a good job. You got to get the players involved. The players have to be on the front line, and they have to want to have the same
Open
goal
up their mouth. Okay.
and fill the stands, right? So whether it's a popular bar, whether it's what is it? Buffalo Wild Wings, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's the movie theater parking lot, whether it's flyers on the cars, um,
Mm-hmm.
flyers left at Publix or whatever, wherever the local hotspots are. I need to know who the managers are. I need to know. I don't know if you guys do like like when your games are over, do you have like a meeting spot where you
Yes, we have like a bar that kind of sponsors us.
okay, okay,
Unfortunately, it's like kind of out of the way from where the game is. So I think once the game is over, I think most people end up just going someplace closer to where the game is, as opposed to going to where the particular bar is, because it's a little out of the way.
now
But they're the only ones that's open, that was willing to sponsor.
where your stadium is, are there any like local hotspots around there? And again, it could be like a Buffalo Wild Wings or
Right, because I know there's like an Applebee's or something that was right there. There's a Hooters. I mean, there's a couple of spots that were just right there by the school where we
flyers,
played at. So I just think we just need to do a better job of maybe going out and reaching out to
flyers,
see who.
reaching out, and not necessarily sponsorship. Hey,
Right.
will you
This is
just
what.
Will you just welcome our girls and have a section for us?
Us, right, after the game.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like we did something with one of the places here, a popular spot, where the players invited family and friends. We promoted it, and the business gave food, but it was like a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
They charge. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta kind of get creative. Flyers and all that stuff. Social media. Your girls gotta post like Instagram reels and stuff, just acting silly.
Yeah, T does a great job of create. She's real creative with creating the reels and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of does a great job of posting them and sharing them.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're trying, but I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. I got to wrap this up. I didn't realize we're already an hour and 10 minutes already. It seemed like we just started. I didn't even realize it has already been this long. But again, that's what happens when you have just great conversations and you're engaged with a great guest. And I just appreciate you coming on. I don't know how much I can say how proud of you I am. Thank you for
Thank you.
representing.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for just representing us and being in a position, a trailblazing position for females like me that may aspire to be a head football coach one day. We definitely need to figure out a way to I don't know, come up with a clinic or something like that to help women to become coaches. If that's what I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll have to come up with something. So before I end, though, I do want to ask you this: is there anything that you've ever wanted to say publicly that you've never had an opportunity to say?
That's a good question.
Because a lot of times people like you don't get this type of a platform, or people don't give you the opportunity to put you out there. I don't know if it's something maybe motivational or just something that a pet peeve or just something that I don't know, just anything. It could be anything. It could be something controversial or something. Anything that you just wanted to say publicly that you've never had an opportunity to say in a public setting.
Not necessarily, but I will say, with this opportunity, I did learn that possibilities are endless and blessings will come just even when you're not like people. One thing that matters to me, and I told Milton this, and people that know me know this, that character means a lot to me. Building relationships mean a lot to me. In the hair business, like my name has entered rooms that I've never walked in. So be kind to people because you just never know
What they've been going through.
Yeah, what they've been going through and where your name may end up. Yeah, where your name may end up.
That's huge. Because you're right, you just never know.
And your name is all you have.
It's everything.
Your name is everything.
So it's everything. I think I learned that from my husband. My husband does not play about his reputation, and he protects it for all costs, even to sometimes to a fault, because he's kind of hesitant to kind of, delve in some stuff, because he's like, if it's something that's unfamiliar to him, he's going to be very hesitant. And I've kind of learned that from him. I think one of the things that that I love that you just said that, because he was somewhere and at a meeting, just out of the blue, and somebody said, "Aren't you Terry Bryant's husband?" "Aren't you Terry Bryant's husband?" And he said he was taken aback because everybody knows my husband. My husband is a legend here, And so, but somebody was like, "Aren't you?" They didn't know who he was, but they knew who I was. And they was like, "Aren't you Terry Bryant's husband?" And then I think probably it either happened the same day or a couple of days later, somebody asked him, "Aren't you Ty Bryant's father?" So now, he's losing his identity because
Yeah.
his wife is making a name and his son is making a name. So yeah, that your reputation is everything.
Your
That's
reputation is
good.
everything.
That's good stuff. You just
And
never
times
know.
a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I don't care what people think." I just had this conversation with my therapist the other day, and it's not a thing where you're seeking validation from people, but you want to know that, am I doing you right? Like, am I a good person? If you're not walking around thinking like, well, if you're just saying, well, I don't care. No, I do care. I do care to an extent what people think, because I want to be known to be a stand-up person, reliable, like all those things. My character does mean a lot. Yeah.
Influential. Because I'm like that. I'm like, I don't care about what people think, but at the same time, I want people to, when you come around me, to be motivated, to
Yeah.
be inspired, to
Yeah.
be, that you felt blessed for meeting me because I allude some type of a light or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't treat you like
Mm-hmm.
crap.
And
That's oh
sometimes with your name being on something, somebody can read it and say, "Oh, okay, I'll show
okay.
up. If she's
Yeah,
involved, I'll show up
I'll
because
show
I
up
know,
because it's her.
I know the type of person she is."
She is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I that's definitely a goal. I'm glad you brought up therapy because that's I think some of the things that we don't do as women is seek out therapy, because my therapist was off the chain. And then I met the owner of Raleigh Express, and there's a girl down there that's a sports psychologist, and she actually talked to our team before the league because she, again, the sports psychology part of it, because the game is mental.
Mm-hmm.
The game is mental. I mean, 98% of it is mental,
Absolutely.
and so if you're going through sometimes it's hard to do that, and so. I'm so glad you brought up the therapy part because most of us need that.
I got a standing appointment on Tuesdays.
Yeah, mine got to the point where he was like, "You can call me anytime you need me," and I was like, "Thank you so much," because
Yeah.
sometimes I'd be going through it.
I
Okay, I
mean,
gotta put my glasses
just with,
on.
and like
Yeah.
people think that you have to do therapy when something is wrong. No,
No,
so just dealing with everyday
just doing
life,
everyday life.
you,
And helping me to just navigate this. I work a job. I'm a mom. I'm a stepmom. I'm in a blended family. I'm a wife. I'm coaching football. I mean, I'm on the board of a nonprofit. Um, I have a podcast. I also want to run a business. I want to get off my job. I mean, I done named 10 things that
yeah,
hats that I have on, and I would go crazy if I didn't have my therapist to be able to sit down and have somebody that I can talk to that kind of understands where I'm coming from. People like you, I know I can call you and be like, Coach, I'm really struggling,
yeah,
and you'll understand where I'm coming from because you're a female coach.
yeah,
Do you have any idea there's not that many people like that? So now I have you, I got Coach Dirty, I got Coach Pat. Um, and maybe a couple other people. But on one hand, I can count on one hand if I'm having a problem as a female coach, female to female. There's nobody that I can call and pick up the phone
yeah, yeah,
and be able to vent to, or ask a question. Hey, did you deal with this? Have you gone with this? How did you deal with that? And that type of stuff. So again, you have no idea how much I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me in your space.
thank you.
Um,
You're welcome.
so that I have you as a reference, and I have you as a trailblazer, and hopefully later on, I'm maybe an accountability partner, whenever I'm ready to get to that next
I
level.
like that. I like that.
I appreciate you. Okay, so we're gonna shut this down while the Lord, oh Lord, I can't read it.
It's gonna be me,
And
Chris.
the basement, Chris Ooms. Oh yeah, that's good stuff, Marie. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I love it. Well, again, you have no, like you hit it dead on note. You have no idea who knows you from
Mhm.
somebody, or and Mr. Brown said your reputation and character are twin attributes that deflect negative energy on your name that lead to respect. And that's everything. So, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. Again, don't log off. So everybody, y'all know how I don't think I mentioned anything about the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, and which is my baby. On the board of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. We have our gala coming up on September the 25th, 21st. And we are highlighting some outstanding athletes from our local area that have not gotten recognized in other platforms. And so we created the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame to shine the light on legends that that deserve the light shined on them. And so make sure y'all get y'all tickets to the gala. It'll go to I think I got a banner somewhere on here, laceoff.com right here. If you go to laceoff.com, you should be able to go there and get your tickets. I think we're about a month and a half away, because tomorrow is August 1st, isn't it? So
Tomorrow's August 1st.
tomorrow's August 1st already. Girl, yesterday was January 1st. I swear yesterday was January 1st. And tomorrow
When do
is
your kids go back to school? My kids here go back
2
tomorrow.
weeks.
They go back tomorrow here.
Already? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I was super busy at work with back to school, but tomorrow is majority of Georgia will be back tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so all I know is we have our first scrimmage is on the 17th. So we're like 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from our first game.
Okay.
And I think school starts like the 14th or something like that. So we still got 2 weeks before school starts. And then 3 weeks.
Yeah, those who go back tomorrow go back Monday, and that should be everybody.
And then that's everybody from there. Yeah, that's crazy that school's getting ready to start up. And then my son's first game is August the 31st. So we're 30 days away from his first game of his sophomore year. So yeah, and I'm ready for football season. So the Orioles is your team. Is Baltimore your NFL team?
Baltimore is my NFL team, and I'm in a house.
I love me some Lamar.
My wife is a Steeler fan, so we bump heads when football season.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Hey, Coach. So this is one of my best friends, Coach Ron Prince. He was the assistant head coach for the Detroit Lions, and he also coached for the Colts, and was a head coach in the NCAA and at different colleges, and that's who I get a lot of my information from if I don't go to my husband, I either get it from him, and he's my other go-to. But yeah, thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna end the stream, but don't log off. So y'all, I'll see y'all next week. I can't remember who I got next week, but y'all know I'll be back next week.
It's always love from me. I love you guys out in Derby. Plenty of people on that team. It's nothing but love. Thank you.
Oh, and the feeling is mutual. We got in a fight with Alabama. We got in a fight. It was 2 minutes left in the game. They just stopped the game because it just ended up being it got that bad. Like, you should go back and see that game, and the last 2 minutes you'd be like, what? Yeah, it was off the chain. It was crazy. But when we played y'all, you could tell it was a mutual respect for the teams with the coaches, and it was, I got mad love from y'all after the game. I appreciate that. Great pictures. So thank you, Coach. I appreciate you. All right, have a good one. Don't log off.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I love y'all. We gone.